Hello, hello, hello. This is Adrienne. Will be coming to you with the horoscope reading for the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius, happy October to you, Aquarius. And actually, this reading is good from today until October because I want to cover, cover the new moon that is coming up in 3 days. It's coming up on the 28th of September. And that new moon is going to be in Libra. And at the time of that new moon, the sun will be in Libra, Mercury will be in Libra, Venus will be in Libra, and on the 4th, Mars goes into Libra. So there's going to be a real emphasis in Libra in the month of October. So at least over the next 2 weeks, I mean, there's a lot of emphasis there. And for you, Aquarius, that is the 9th house, the 9th house. Now, the 9th house rules a lot of things. I always call it the God house because it's, the house of philosophy and spirituality and how you feel about life in general, like your real, true attitude about life is found there, really. So with so much emphasis, and in Libra, actually, I can see this is justice we're talking about as well. So it could be that you might have jury duty, you might have to see a lawyer, you might have an attorney, you might be going through something that has to do with the law or legalities. Now, I have Aquarius rising. I'm wondering if my husband is actually sending the papers, like he said, for our divorce. That could happen over the next few weeks, something like that, okay? So just be aware that something of that nature could be occurring during the next couple of weeks. I mean, if it could be legally that you're working on a patent or you get copy, it could be a legal matter that's in your benefit, or, I could even see mediation, actually, or, and that kind of thing, because Libra rules negotiations and it rules mediation. It kind of rules coming to an agreement, really. That's what I think about when I think of Libra. That's why it's the partnership sign. That's why they call it's the marriage sign. It's two people coming together in agreement together, really, and making a bond or a unit together, I think. It's reaching out to another person. It's you and another. That's what Libra represents. And also justice and balance, right? We always think of that. So with it being in the 9th house, and that being the legal house and the house of causes and justice and things of that nature, it only stands to reason that you may either work out and mediate an issue between you and a significant other, a partner, a marriage partner, even arbitrate or mediate with an enemy. Maybe your fights with enemies will come to an end. Or it could just signify that, the legal portion of severing the said ties of the marriage or the partnership or anything like that. But I just don't know. It just doesn't seem negative because it's enshrined to Aquarius. However, let's not forget, though, there is Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn, and they will most likely be making some ugly squares to those planets that are about to go into Scorpio. So that's not that nice, I guess. So, and then of course we have the North Node in the 6th house in Cancer, and that could be also making some squares to some of those Libra planets. And so I can see where there could be an issue. I can see that, but just be aware that the 9th house is being emphasized during the month, that it is the house of emphasis. That could indicate travel. It could indicate education. It could indicate people with displacement going back to church, really. I just see you reaching out maybe even to a spiritual leader. Maybe maybe the secret is going through it from a spiritual angle. You know, I just had a thought, even for myself. I should have been going through the church to get my annulment, and I didn't. I'm going to do that. I advise you Aquariuses to look at, you know, if you have a spiritual teacher or a religious background, or if it's coming out in that way, it might, if that's the issue. If it's legalities, look at whatever the legal issue is closer, get a mentor, someone that is really versed in law, in legalities. Don't try to do it yourself. You know, find someone good who can help you weigh and balance out whatever is unbalanced. Whatever is unfair, unjust, unbalanced could balance out now. It could equal out now. And so if you're, like for me, right away, I thought about going to my bishop, but for you, it could take place in another way. Like if this is, say you got traffic tickets, you might, with Venus there and Mercury, you could maybe negotiate your way through those traffic tickets. Maybe get a mediator, a negotiator, a lawyer, or someone to work that out for you. I hope you're following where I'm going with this. So it's, you know, it's just the emphasis is there. Now, education is also 9th house, and it's like the end of September, beginning of October. That's like when people go back to school. So a lot of Aquariuses might be even going back and getting more education, getting into you know, mastermind groups and working with other people, because remember, it's you and the other. You and the other. And so that is really a big thing, especially with Jupiter direct in Sagittarius, the ruler of the 9th house, in your natural house, the 11th house. And that means lots of friends. I see Aquarius and Aquarius rising making lots of friends. Lots of friends. And hopefully you'll be able to get your hopes, dreams, and wishes met during this time, because Jupiter is now direct in the 11th house. And whatever you've been thinking about over the last few months, you're like, I can't get my wishes met. They're going to get met now. I bet you they will. So that's a good sign for you, Aquarius, because the 11th house is your house. It's like having Jupiter in Aquarius right now. So, you know, take advantage of that and build those partnerships, build those friendships, you know, negotiate those deals or whatever you're going to be doing. That's what I'm seeing there for you. Now, the funny thing is, Neptune is retrograde in the 2nd house. I would normally not like Neptune in the 2nd house anyway, but I think since it's retrograding, I think that Aquarius and Aquarius rising types are going to go back and pick up that money. Your eyes are going to be open to things that you were not aware of before. You're going to see ways to pick up money. You're going to see ways where you've been siphoning or wasting money, or your eyes have been closed to certain issues with money. All of a sudden, you're going to get an idea, or I think you're going to be able to see more in the money area, because with Neptune there, I think a lot of us Aquarius rising types have been blinded to money. I mean, money has not been, I can't explain what money has been. It's been horrific. So I'm hoping that this Neptune retrograde will help us to go back over and find out what we've done wrong and figure out how to get the money to flow the way it should flow. And that would, I think, if we can do this, especially after the 3rd, when Mercury goes into Scorpio, and on the 8th, when Venus goes into Scorpio, and on the 23rd, when the Sun goes into Scorpio, they're all going to start making those wonderful little trines to that 2nd house of money along the way. Now, it could be a little tense for you because you're Aquarius, but that's action, and that just means you're going to find some active way, hopefully, to start generating money for yourself. Now, the full moon is in Aries on the 13th, And, you know, that's going to be a sextile to a lot of Aquarius. And I think that's going to be good too. That third house can rule your local community, your neighbors. It could be like your vehicle, driving, traveling locally, but talking, communicating, speaking. Yeah, all forms of communication. That's writing, that's speaking, that's talking on the telephone, going on the internet, all of that. That's right there, that third house. So that full moon is going to really be the influence from the 13th on. You're going to be feeling that. I think a lot of emphasis is going to be in the third house. And that can also rule extended family members becoming more important in your life during that period too. That's, you know, aunts, uncles, nephews, nieces, brothers, sisters, cousins, all that kind of thing. So, you know, be aware of that because it's full. It's a full moon in Aries. And with you being Aquarius, that's blowing hot. That's blowing air on hot fire. I'm just saying, watch your speech. Like, I can imagine something could come out, like, all of a sudden, wow. Chiron is in the third house, too, so you're healing something there. You could be healing issues with your family. You could be healing issues with your, you know, locally, maybe local travel. But I feel like you're healing that. It's something that you're healing in this area. And, you know, with the emphasis going between the 9th and the 3rd this month, I do think travel in general might become just part of the conversation. Local travel and then even possibly long distance travel. So be aware of that as well. Uranus is retrograde in the 4th house. And so crazy things could be happening in your house. And I had mentioned this in the Capricorn reading, but I'll say it to you, Aquarius, as well. My electricity, Aquarius, is out in my kitchen, not the first time. And it is affected my food. Now, I've got a wire going back and forth through the house, but that is very Uranus in the 4th house. This is not the first time that the electricity in the kitchen has gone out. It really does make me cautious, and I'm always keeping my eye on it because I don't want it to be something that could be combustible, you know, something that could happen. And but be aware of that. Something that's electrified or maybe involved with electricity, or your home, something in your home involving electricity could occur. And so just be aware of that. It just could be something weird happening in your home in general, but I'm thinking it could have something to do with electricity, maybe. And finally, I want to just say that, you know, there is this weird North Node, South Node, 6th house, 12th house thing going on. You guys might have been having weird, like, pangs, like twinges, like health things, like maybe your body. I wonder your stomach. You might have been having stomach pinges, like all of a sudden a pain in your stomach, or your food might not be digesting well, or it is. Or you might find that you're losing weight, or something's going on with your digestive system. All of these, I think, could be indicative of having that North Node sitting in the 6th house in Cancer, okay? And so be aware of that. You could also find that you've maybe gotten a little emotional at work. You know, you might have been emotional. It might just be that you're dealing with women. You're working probably with more women than you have been. And it's funny that I've not connected this for my own self, but I can give you an example how it could play out. I was made a moderator at a group called Black Women Promote, which is on Facebook. It has about 26,000 women. I didn't have any girlfriends, and I didn't really know very many Black women at all. But now, I mean, with the North Node in the 6th house and Jupiter in the 11th house, there's 25,000 women off and on that are either pinging me, emailing me, or doing things, or were involved in something. And I literally had to take a day off of Facebook. It's actually almost been 2 days. I had my brain, I was overwhelmed. Also with issues with, other things. So just be aware of that you may need a health break. You might need a mental health break. And that's because Saturn and Pluto and the North Node are in your 12th house. It's not an easy place to have Saturn, Pluto in the North Node or South Node. Especially the South Node. You could be really telling yourself bad things about yourself. You could be doubting yourself right now. So I want you to be cautious about the things you're saying internally to yourself. This would be a great time to get positive affirmations and binaural beats and all kind of positive things to keep your internal self positive, your internal mind up. And if you can figure out ways to do that, you're going to be just fine, especially during this time because, well, a lot of those planets are going to be trining Sag or sextile, trining Aquarius or sextile Aquarius. I was thinking Sag because I have a great big, like the Jupiter, I got it right there in the 11th house, right? So look, I just want you guys to know Aquarius. That Jupiter is in the 11th house of friends. Make some friends. Don't hide away. Make friends. This is your time to do that. Okay? And get prepared for what's about to go down in your career. Because it's about to be on and popping. All right? All right. Sending out much love and light to you all. Okay? Now, if you haven't already done so, please like, share, and subscribe. And be sure to hit the little bell so you know when I'm uploading these new videos here. And also invite anyone who wants to be a part of our group on Facebook. Come and join us over there at facebook.com/groups/astrology a look inside. And you can also find us on, our website is Astrology a look inside. And I'm going to put all the other things I do down below, all those links, okay? So much love and light to everyone. Namaste. Blessings.